Apparently a serial killer is on the loose. In Gainesville, 5 young people have been murdered since Sunday, some horribly mutilated. And haunting memories of another serial killer are beginning to return. NBC's Noah Nelson tonight.
Early this morning, police discovered the bodies of 2 University of Florida students at this off-campus apartment building. The male and female roommates were the 4th and 5th college students found murdered in Gainesville since Sunday.
I'm just freaked out. I can't believe it happened in my own complex. I can't believe it happened anywhere.
This weekend, authorities discovered the mutilated bodies of 2 female roommates. 18-year-old Sonia Larson and 17-year-old Christina Powell were first-year students who lived off campus. Police say both girls had been savagely attacked. On Monday, the decapitated body of Christelle Hoyt was found in her off-campus apartment.
We have every reason to believe now that all of the 5 victims found beginning last Sunday afternoon about 4 o'clock and through this morning are probably all connected to one suspect or 2 suspects.
The 5 murders, all in the same area, have shattered the tranquility of this town. Some students now feel that nowhere is safe.
If they can kill 2s at a time, they can kill 3s at a time.
In the early 70s, mass murderer Ted Bundy terrorized Tallahassee, Florida, with this attack on a sorority house. Bundy was executed for his crimes. Now many here in Gainesville are afraid that the same kind of serial killer is stalking their college town. Some students, now afraid to live alone, have moved in with others. Fearing the danger is too great, some are transferring to other schools.
My mom called me this morning and told me to come home now.
And I'm hoping that they discover who's doing this by the weekend. And if that's not the case, then I'm going to bring my daughter home till this is solved.
Gainesville police have beefed up campus security, and the state police and the FBI have been called into the case. But the murders have struck a nerve, and now personal safety, not studies, are on the minds of many students. Noah Nelson, NBC News, Gainesville, Florida.
In northern Illinois, at least 5 people were killed.
Still searching for more possible victims around the University of Florida in Gainesville. So far, most of them mutilated co-eds, victims of a Ted Bundy-like maniac who has struck in an almost mirror attack of the notorious mass killer. With us now at the scene in Gainesville is our Bill McGowan. Bill?
Maury, how many times have we heard that college is supposed to be the best 4 years of your life? A time of newfound freedom and independence in an idyllic and unreal surrounding. But a tragic dose of reality set in here when the mutilated bodies of 5 young students were discovered in their off-campus apartments. Right now, police believe it may be the work of the same person, and perhaps someone the students knew, since there was no sign of forced entry at any of the locations. As you can imagine, the switchboards here have been flooded with calls from panicked parents trying to discover how their children are. And now with me are 2 university seniors, Annie Hunter and Andrea Mackey, and I suppose you got calls from home.
They're real concerned. My parents called from West Virginia, and I have a sister in New Orleans, and they were frantic. They wanted to know what was going on.
What kind of advice are they giving you?
Well, they keep on saying safety in numbers, and I live alone, so I've had a friend come stay with me, and I plan on staying there this evening, and just, you know, keeping everything really, keep your drapes drawn, and just safety in numbers, really, just staying around your friends.
Andrea, what kind of precautions are you taking?
Well, my roommate and I, we make sure that we know where each other is at all times, and, you know, she pulls up and honks, and I, you know, come and let her in real quick, and everybody's called and just said, you know, keep calling, you know, when you get home from work at night, call, just so we know where you're at, and so everything like that.
Are both of you kind of looking over your shoulders a bit at night?
Very much so. Last night was not, it was the most uncomfortable night. It really was, because we don't know what exactly happened. We don't know if there was forced entry. We just know that the bodies were mutilated, and it just leaves you with a real awkward, it's like a pit in the bottom of your stomach, and it really is. We're all real scared.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Maury, to say that the situation on campus here is panicked would not be overstatement or hype.
All right, Bill, we'll be back to you in a moment. Of course, there's much more to this story of what's happening.
There is loose in their towns and their communities. People like me today.
That's next. Let's go back now to our Bill McGowan at the scene of that shocking co-ed massacre at the University of Florida. Bill, the mood kind of grim, huh?
Maury, I was walking around just a few minutes ago to try to find a couple of students who would come on the show with us and talk about what precautions they're taking. And I would approach the students, and you notice them backing up right away. Everybody is very, very cautious. I had to take out my company ID and show it to them, and they really examined it. They're really looking twice at which strangers approached them.
Well, I can imagine why. And
there was one girl,
yeah.
Excuse me, there was one girl here who said she got a call from her parents in Miami, practically pleading with her to come home, and she is going to go home.
Before we go any further, let's fill in our entire audience about this story and what's going down in Gainesville. It's as if Ted Bundy has returned from his grave to haunt this college town and write his name in blood, the same way he did the first time, the second time, the umpteenth time, with the murders of young, unsuspecting co-eds.
It makes me afraid just because I thought of Gainesville as a much safer place than that for something to happen so close to home. It makes me afraid.
The death count is up to 5 as college kids head back to school and into a nightmare. On Sunday, Bloody Sunday, 2 women were found dead in an off-campus apartment. It was just the beginning.
You heard the policeman talking to the parents saying, oh, it's nothing, you know, they're fine, they're off somewhere, and that kind of thing. But then the reality of opening up the door and finding that something really has gone wrong, it's frightening.
Then yesterday, the death of another young woman. And today, so far, police have found 2 more bodies. When will it end?
Just before 8:30 this morning, we responded to Gatorwood apartment complex, reference a call about 2 people being inside an apartment dead. At this time, what we're releasing is we have 1 male and 1 female that are deceased.
We want to make sure that we don't overlook any possibility that these cases may be connected. If they are, we certainly want to know that at the earliest possible moment so that we don't lose any evidence or any intelligence information.
Everyone here, including the police, are seeing the ghost of Ted Bundy. Could it be happening again? Just 12 years after Bundy murdered 2 Florida State University co-eds nearby. His last of his many victims. In a near blueprint of this horror, it was the final act of barbary that would write him a ticket to Florida's electric chair and American infamy.
I deserve certainly the most extreme punishment society has, and I think society deserves to protect it from me and from others like me. That's for sure.
Ted Bundy himself delivered this warning on the eve of his execution on January 24th, 1989.
Those who I have harmed, those who I've caused so much grief, even if they don't believe my expression of sorrow and remorse, will believe what I'm saying now, that there is loose in their towns and their communities people like me today whose dangerous impulses are being fueled day in and day out by violence in the media in its various forms, particularly sexualized violence.
Ironically, just last week, this movie was released, Exorcist III, action-packed with violence, including decapitations. The gruesome deaths in Gainesville could be copycat killings.
Those of us who have been so much influenced by violence in the media, in particular pornographic violence, are not some kind of inherent monsters. We are your sons and we are your husbands.
Police are asking terrified students to remain on campus as they scour the university, searching for clues and consoling students. And through it all, the echo of Ted Bundy's voice.
It was like something that snapped, that I knew that I couldn't control it anymore.
Bill McGowan, cops have any leads? Baffled? What's the mood in terms of law enforcement?
Well, they're a little tight-lipped right now, Maury. A little later on today, the police chief and the president of the university are holding a news conference in the student union, which will be followed by a general student meeting. So we may have more information later in the day.
Fine. Thank you very much, Bill. And, of course, we'll be following this story. This one is one that will not go away for a while. We'll be back in a moment.